Hi, everybody.
We're not sneaking up.
No,
We're throwing cans in the community.
you're right. I'm just doing a live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast. I'm coming to you from Alpha in Western Queensland, and that's why I've got my camping chic happening tonight. So, after this is my second show, so thanks for joining me. If you're here with me, I'm going to change it up a little bit and start off with my weekly tarot forecast. Then I'm going to have Janette Maree Truthseeker on board with me in about maybe 10 to 15 minutes time, and then after that we'll do some live readings to finish up the show. So let's start with this week's weekly forecast. So I like to use the tarot for looking at what's happening to us this week, and see what sort of energies are affecting us, and how we can move through that with a few little bits of tips and guidance from me. So hello, welcome everybody. So this is just a little reading. It goes about 10 minutes, and we'll see what comes up, because I was interested to see what's coming up for the week ahead. So I choose 6 cards. My deck is a Mythic Tarot deck that I use. I've had it for about 25 years. Poor old thing. I've got friends who go, ooh. But anyway, my deck is really my favourite. Okay, so now I've just chosen 6 random cards. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. And so this is for the week ahead, the weekly forecast. So the first card we've got is the card that represents you and me. And I have here the 10 of Cups. So this is the energy that's around us this week. And it's really interesting. This is a card of contentment. So tuning into the energy of that card, for us, that means that we have that air of contentment around us. If you're not feeling content, or if you're feeling out of sorts, and the 10 of Cups energy is telling you that you can tap into that contentment and draw it in if you want to. I mean, you can always resist it, that's not a problem, but it's there for you to tap into. The next card I'm going to show you is the energy of the universe. So what's in our aura, what's sort of pushing us? And I always like to think that it's the hand of spirit saying, come on, it's giving us a bit of encouragement. So the energy around us is the Wheel of Fortune card. So I'm just going to tune into that card. So energetically, what the universe is motivating us to do is to just look at and go with the flow of things. That when it turns up in a spread, when I'm doing a reading for people, generally it means that where things have been stuck, it's now going to start moving forward. So the Wheel of Fortune card in line with this one here, means that the contentment that surrounds us means that we are in an upward swing. So we can tap into that contentment as many times, as much as we can, and draw it in and actually live it and make it part of who we are. So the card that blocks us this week, or that challenges us this week, is this card here. So this is where it's like trying to convince other people, trying to show them or say, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm here, I'm relevant, all those sorts of things. So you might find, even though you're content and life is starting to move forward and you're feeling sort of good about things, that you'll come up against blocks when it comes to other people recognizing your state of being or your state of mind. And you might even try to find yourself drawing other people into your space, saying, hey, let's make this. I can show you how to do this. I can show you how to be peaceful. Just follow me. And that's what this card here is, that it's very difficult to convince other people how to feel better about themselves. You've already done the work, right? So you've already done the work. You've created the contentment around you. And the Wheel of Fortune card is loosening up that energy and helping us tap into that goodness. So how are we going to respond? We've got all this lovely energy around us, and now the world is starting to change, and we just want to share it with everybody, and not really getting it. How are we going to respond? This is really interesting. The influencer. So we're going to be influencing people in a different way. So we're going to, a lot of times, I used to call her that one. She is a manipulator, right? But the much kinder word or gentler, softer word is an influencer. So how we respond to that energy and how we respond to um, that wanting to pull people in and say, hey, I've got all these answers, I've got this new way of doing things, is we're going to find different ways to influence rather than dragging people kicking and screaming into our space and saying, hey, I've got it all. So what does that mean for us? What does the future hold for us after all these things that are happening? Well, this is an interesting card coming. Oh my goodness. So I chose these cards randomly, right? Look at that. So what happens for us? The tower is quite destructive. So I just want to tune into the energy because otherwise these cards have been quite positive and moving in the right direction. So I want to choose and tune into that, just see what that means for us and how that's actually moving into the future. Oh, cool. Okay. So we've got all this lovely energy around us, and the universe is saying, hey, we're going to free some space up, and you're saying to the world, this is what I want, right? This is what this is for the great, come and try this with me. And they're going, no, no, no. And you're going to say, hey, I found a different way of doing it. So you're going to sort of find different ways to show them rather than pulling them in. And the Tower card means that it's funny, this popped into my mind the other day. I'm going to make it one of my subjects is in order to, if you want to influence and if you want to find ways of showing how good it is to like walk your path, the Tower is saying you have to walk your talk. So you can't say, hey, my way is a great way, or I've got my stuff together. The Tower is reminding us you can't do that unless you're prepared to walk your talk, and the Tower will always, everything will fall down unless you're doing those things for yourself. So, for instance, if you think, oh, no, meditation's so good and I'm feeling so good because I'm meditating, but unless it's a regular practice and you're trying to drag everybody else into it, it's not going to work, right? Because you're not actually walking that talk of in bringing meditation into everyday life. This is just an example. So the Tower is reminding us, yes, you can influence and you can share that beautiful content energy and that shift and that change that's around you, but it's all going to fall down unless you actually are walking your talk as well. It's a really good reminder that, we know what's good sometimes, but we don't always do what's good for ourselves. Okay, so what's the spiritual meaning around all these things that are happening for us in the coming week? What is our soul's lesson, or what is our soul wanting to say or teach us or to show us or to actually bring into our toolbox perhaps as well? So this is a card that came out for our spiritual self. So this is saying that, well, it's funny we talked about walking your talk, right? This is saying that you now have everything. You've learned a lot of things. You're coming out of that cave of knowledge. You're coming out of that cave of knowledge and you have everything that you need to make a difference in the world. That's coming from the soul, not from anything else. That's coming from your own wisdom and your soul. But it's still the beginning, right? It's still the beginning. And the twos are always about connecting in relationships. So you have gained and gathered a lot of wisdom. You have learned, oops, where are we? How to bring contentment and peace into your life. The universe is making things shift and move. So it's creating that where the energy is becoming unstuck. So you can enjoy your contentment. You want to try and drag everybody else into it because it feels so good. And that's what you want to, hey, try this with me. You'll learn how to influence in a different way by walking your talk. Unless you want, if you want to be an effective influencer, you must walk your talk or it's all going to come falling down and it's not going to make any sense. You know what happens? Sometimes if that happens, you lose faith in the things that you know that work for you. So walk your talk. And that means that we have passed another milestone or another vibrational shift in our energy this week. And we're getting to test out the things that we've learned. And that's what walking your talk is all about. And that strengthens your spirit, strengthens your resilience, and strengthens your faith in what we do and that spiritual self. Anyway, Having said that, oh yeah, you're right. I'm at a caravan park tonight, so I'll be having people coming in and out. You can just be part of it if you want. You can just join in. So now I've got Janette, and her Janette Maree Truthseeker is her page. Her her group, her actual page is, and I've got it up on my. I'm going to welcome Janette into the stream now. Hi, Janette. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you. So I'm going to pop your details up on the little thing there that I've got as a banner. There we go. Let's turn it into a banner for you. So that we have got that. Hang on a tick, just bear with me. Turn it into a banner. There we go. And show it. There we go. That's you, right? Mystic Angel.
Thank you. That is me, Angelic Mystic Realm.
There you go. And so thanks for joining me, Janette. And tonight we're talking about what you do when you get stuck. You know, we all have that happening to us. And sometimes it feels like we're not connected to our spiritual selves or our soul self or even our guides or intuition. And so I wanted to chat with you about that tonight because we all have our own little ways of dealing with it or working with it, and just to show that it's not actually something that is different and like separate to everybody else. So Janette, can you tell me when that happens to you, and welcome, thank you for, as I said, thank you for joining me. When that happens to you, first of all, what does it feel like for you when that you get that initial, because we're all still human, right? You get that initial, oh my goodness, I'm stuck. What does that feel like for you?
Well, Vicki, thank you for having me. So you're right, everybody gets stuck, and a lot of people that I chat to make the assumption that because people are psychics or mediums or channelers or healers or whatever, you know, banner we come under, that our lives are all with the angels. And that is so far from the truth. I often believe that we have to do more work because we are so in tune with what's going on. And I definitely get stuck. And that is, I find, if I do not balance my angelic side to my humanness, I can get very, very stuck. Because it would be so nice to stay on the angelic side, but I have to come back into the human world. And I find that I can tell when I'm getting stuck because I can react quickly to things. Like, I'm usually not a reactor. So I will see or hear something, I'm able to sit with it, see if that is actual truth for me, and then move on or deal with it, whichever. But I find when I'm stuck, I will react. So I will feel anger or frustration, or I will get really ticked off quickly, or I will actually start to feel sad, and I'll think, oh, what's going on? You know, that really reacted with me. What's happening? So then I will take a moment and think, okay, Janette, what's going on? And that's something I've had to learn to do over a period of time. It just didn't come overnight. Oh, here's my cup of tea. Thank you. And that's something, but the biggest lesson that I learned out of that in the beginning was, especially when I help other people become unstuck, the biggest question I find that I make people ask themselves, and this is their challenge, not the work, the challenge is, do you really want to become unstuck? What do I mean by that? Some people come so stuck in their ways, you know, and I often hear people say to me, oh, well, you know, that always happens to me. Or I expect that to happen. So we, you know, kind of got ourselves into that poor me. Well, that's not quite the right words, but sometimes I don't have the right words come. But you sort of, you want to change, but you don't want to change because change can be scary. So the first thing is to identify, do you want to get out of that stuck? What do you think, Vicki?
I love that. I love that. Yes. And I actually have emotional reactions as well. And I have to, same, like you, like I listen to any changes in my body, I listen to any changes in my attitude. And as you say, we are all human, and often an imbalance is happening around us. I have anxiety when that happens to me because it does run along smoothly, nice, and then all of a sudden, oh, hang on, that's not right, what's going on? My first thing is, did I do something wrong? Have I done something wrong? Always my first go-to, and that's old conditioning. But I can catch myself.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, and that can still catch me off guard every once in a while. And you're right. I work, and even in my own life, as you were saying that to me, even in my own life, I can reflect on that. Did I want to change when I was stuck? Did I want to become unstuck? And you're right. Change is scary, and we do fight. So yeah.
And sometimes it is safer for us to stay in that anxiety, or because we've grown used to that, so we've learnt to deal with that. So it is very much progress coming out of being stuck. And I made a couple notes because often I get off on tangents. And so some of the things that I do when I get stuck is I stop. I ask myself, what's going on? So I do what I call inner work. And I know a lot of people talk about inner work, but they don't actually explain what that means. So for me, it's getting out of my head, because my head has a script in it that will tell me I'm too fat, I'm not smart, I shouldn't be doing this, stop doing this, no one wants to listen to you, you're stupid. My script never tells me anything lovely. That's my heart. So I get out of my head and out of that script, and I go down into my heart and I say, Janette, what's going on? What has triggered you today? And I'll guarantee you it will be something from a childhood or something that resonates very strongly within me. And then I'll sit and work with that. How do I work with it? I'm very big on going for a walk, especially along the beach. I'm a Pisces, so any water is good for me. But walking is very, very good for clearing me and getting me where I need to be. And I'm also huge on journaling, because I find that really it downloads all the rubbish and then I can let it go. But one other thing that I did find worked for me, and initially it was very hard to do because nobody likes listening to their own voice, I started getting a recorder and I started recording. I just talked. I just let myself talk and said, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling so angry right now, and da, da, da. And then I would leave it, and then I would go back and listen to it before I went to bed. And I realised that it was all just a story I told myself. None of it, very little of it was actually real. It was me being in the moment. So they're 3 examples of what I do to get unstuck. What about you? What else do you do, Vicki?
Well, I do the same thing. I stop and I think, because when I'm in the flow of everything, and I think I talked about this last week as well, is that the body never lies, right? So if you're feeling discomfort, if you're out of that flow, your body is your intuition. It will tell you. Your mind is a liar. The thoughts that rattle around there are lies. So your body is telling you that something is not okay. And initially, whenever I feel a bit out of balance, I do the same thing, and I stop. And I go within and I take a breath. And you're right about that when people talk about doing some inner work. It really is different for everybody. And you have to try out all these different things to make it suit you. And it is tough to actually come out of a pattern of behavior. And that's what the discomfort is all about. The discomfort is a reminder that your belief system has changed and you've got some new values coming in. And it's about bringing those, as you said, bringing those things back into balance. So yes, what else do I do? I usually go and do something like I'll take myself out of the space that I'm in and go and do something a bit different, just to shake my thoughts out of the, break that sort of cycle, as you say, that monkey mind. But I do like the idea of journaling. And what I also find, and you reminded me of it, and I make that as a task for for some of my clients, is there's a wonderful book. One of my teachers told me about it. It's a wonderful book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it is a book about and blocking your creative self. But one of the pre-exercises before you start her program is called the morning pages. And it's very much what you're describing here, Janette. It is where you write down and just empty all of the thoughts. It's like emptying the trash on your computer. And once you do that, you are giving a voice to that part of you. And I call it like the inner 2-year-old, right? Because when a 2-year-old has a bit of a tantrum, and that's what I think of the mind sometimes. It doesn't know. The mind doesn't know the future. And so it will do everything it can to prevent you from moving forward, including all that negative talk, all those lies. And so I treat it like I would a 2-year-old and just say, well, okay, eventually, like that sophisticated part of me, when I get out of the anxiety and everything, which is that sophisticated part of my mind says, you know what? Well, if you trust me, I will show you and everything will be okay. But journaling and getting it out, you can look at it and say, you know what, that really doesn't make any sense, and it takes you out of that.
Look, I found, this is just anything that I say, it's what I've found personally. This isn't projected out to everybody else, but I found when a lot of the new age stuff come in, which is fantastic, we want the old traditional ways and we want new, because that's how we evolve, but I did find when a lot of the new age stuff come in, it all became love and light. And you know, someone would put, and someone would put something on their page, you know, it might be, I'm feeling a bit down today, looking for that support, because Facebook's very good for that. And I would watch people say, oh, no, that's negative. You need to be positive. You need to smile and the world will smile with you. And that used to break my heart, because I found that a lot of, I'm going to say the word damage, is being done because people think they have to be 24/7, and that is not realistic. Oh my goodness, I can be traveling along having a fantastic day, and then I can go outside and a rock may have chipped my car windscreen. Well, I'm not going to go, oh, my windscreen's chipped, I'm so happy. I mean, that would not be realistic, you know. And it's about learning yourself. And I think that being able to get unstuck comes back to learning yourself, to knowing yourself, and to learning to love yourself. And that's hard to do, because so many people are told to love themselves. But if you've never had love in your life, if you've had a childhood that didn't give you a lot of that, it's very hard to learn to love when you've been conditioned that you're not lovable. So and I'm very aware of that, because that's what I teach people, because I've walked those shoes. And another thing that keeps me, well, it doesn't keep me unstuck, I still get stuck, but I never take anything, nothing, good, bad, ugly, precious, from today into tomorrow. So before I get into bed every night, I journal everything. Oh, I had fun in the garden today. I took the grandchildren. We did the, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because tomorrow is a new day. I've got 24 hours in that day to create my new. So just say, Vicki, you and I had words today, which we wouldn't, because I'm a lover, not an arguer, but just say we did. Well, you know, we might go our separate ways and I'm at the caravan park with you. Well, tomorrow morning when I come out, it's, good morning, Vicki, how are you? Would you like a cup of tea? Because that's gone, that's done, that's dusted. I don't want to, I don't want to carry that forward. And if people could learn to let go, and that's a big thing, sometimes we like to hang on to that anger or that resentment about the ex, or, you know, like I'm really angry with my child for doing that. But the only person that gets sabotaged out of that is you. Everybody else goes on with their life. So it's really important. That's part of being unstuck.
Yes, and that narrative can play over and over and can keep you in that sort of stuck space. And that I was contemplating the things that I do as you were talking to become unstuck, because I have the same thing about the New Age movement. I love it. That I started in the 90s, right? That's all sort of all got me into thing, but I grew out of it and then back into the old ways again, like the ways that we were taught before all that came along. And I think that to feel emotions or to feel like any sort of feelings, like you don't even have to name it, but to actually own it, you become less fearful of it. And you can say, I always like to think I taught myself this little exercise, talking about getting to know yourself and becoming unstuck. It was a magical thing, and I'll share it with you today. Is that if I felt, I could feel my mind going, I always say it goes a little bit like this. I could feel my mind getting like that. And then I was like, hang on, what's going on here? So I would name the emotion, and then I would not give a story. I would recognize when my mind wanted to give a story. And I thought, no, I'm actually feeling this, because I would be afraid of my emotions. I would be afraid of being angry. I would be afraid of being sad and so forth. And I would try all those things because that was like, you had to be love and light, right? So
Yes.
anyway, but it was just, it actually made me quite ill. So I thought, okay. And what happened was, the most amazing thing happened was that I got to know myself, and I thought, I'm not that bad. I started to like myself. And then I also started to, because I knew myself, when those things popped up, I thought, that's okay. I know it's going to pass soon. And what would happen was that the incident or something would just go just like that. And once upon a time, you do all that work. And yes, it would take me sometimes days or weeks. And it became minutes and seconds. It would just flick like that. And I think, Janette, you hit the nail on the head when you talked a bit about becoming self-aware. So becoming stuck is pulling you back into yourself.
And do you know, most of the stuff every day in our day, something can happen and we create a story about it. So, for example, let me give you an example I think everyone, including you, will resonate with. You text somebody or Facebook message somebody, because you know how you can see if they've read it?
Yes.
Their little face will drop down and they've read it, but they haven't answered you, and like half an hour's gone by. And so you get in a space.
Yes.
Oh, well, Vicki hasn't answered me. I wonder what her problem is. She's read it. Obviously, I've done something to annoy her because she hasn't taken the time to answer me. Well, how dare she? Like, that was really important to me so you create a story. And then you finally come back. Oh, my goodness, Janette, I'm so sorry. I read that as I was running out the door. I had to go to the shop because I had people coming for lunch and I had no eggs. Oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. You must feel ignored.
Yes.
Oh, no problem, Vicki. No problem. Meanwhile, I've created this big story, and that's what we do. So learning when you're creating a story, that's part of knowing yourself. And before I came on, while I was waiting, because when I was sitting in the room, I pulled 2 cards for us. And I've got goosebumps rippling, yes. So I always call in who I call in coming into any live, and I asked for a very specific message for everybody. So, and I told my guides that we were talking about becoming unstuck. So first card they got me was balance. And that's what we've just been talking about, finding the balance of where you're at and where you're sitting and looking at what's going on here and coming down into your heart center. That's where you find your balance. And the second one was creativity. And I asked for clarification on what that meant for us. And the angel said, get creative. Don't follow, So, for example, Vicki and I said we journal and we do, but get creative. What might work for you is, I know with one of my daughters, when she's feeling stuck, I can always tell because she plays, is it Lana Ray?
Lana Del Rey.
And I know when that music's on, she's working through some stuff, and I'll go in and say, hey, babe, how's it going? Yep, I'm just in the zone, Mum. Yep, all right, I'll put the kettle on. So find your creativity. Journaling doesn't work for everyone. Some people don't like it. They struggle to do that. But they may be able to go out in the garden and spend 2 hours out there digging and pulling weeds, and that works for them. Whereas I'm scared of the garden because there's big spiders here in Australia. So find your creativity in what works for you to become unstuck.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I wanted to also talk about that when my clients come to me and say that they're stuck, and I've had this happen in my life as well. It feels like you are disconnected from your guides. It feels like you are disconnected from the world of spirit. And all of a sudden, all these messages and the flow that you used to have is gone. And so have you had that happen to you in your life, Janette? And what did that feel like for you if you did?
Absolutely. Mine was a little different. I had a situation happen to me. I was actually being bullied severely in my workplace. There was 5 of us, and usually I can work with, but these people were relentless. They were very underhanded, and it affected my health to the point where I thought I was having a heart attack. I had a massive panic attack, and I actually got angry when I got home, and I went out into the backyard and I basically told God and all of my angels to F off. I was so angry because I was in that. I was being treated appallingly. Lies were being told, mistruths, and that really goes against. I'm very, what you see with me is what you get. And I went out the backyard and I remember saying, you know what? I don't feel as though you're helping me, so F off. And anyway, I came inside, and I don't know whether they did leave me alone for a while to let me cool off, or I felt that I'd actually severed the. And I didn't like it. Like, I remember when I'd calmed down, and I did apologise. I was like, I'm so sorry, you know. I did apologise, but I didn't have a connection. And I've had connection since I was 6 years old when I had my near-death experience. So I'll tell you exactly what it felt like for me. I felt like I was in a relationship and my partner had just got up and packed his bags and moved out, but not told me why. And that's how it felt for me. It gutted me. So I had to work on me. And after, when it all came around, because I channel and I asked the question, why did you leave me? I was heartbroken. And they said, we never did. We did not leave you. But sometimes we have to work things out for ourselves. And I'm guilty of it too. I will say, angels, can you help me with this? You know, guardians, can you help me with that? And sometimes we need to stand on our own 2 feet, no matter how connected we are. And that's something that I learnt.
Building up that resilience, right, as humans, to build up, and as spiritual workers as well, as light workers. I had, it's happened to me a couple of times now. When it's happened, the first couple of times, this is back like maybe more than 20 years ago now, I walked away. I said, because I had a family to look after, I had a job to do. I said, I can't be doing this in this other headspace over here when I've got to be, doing this real life stuff. This is ridiculous. But really, I was actually evolving. So I chopped it all off. My life just turned miserable. I had a recent occurrence where I actually suffered depression, which I'd never. I mean, I've had reactive stuff, right? But this was real. And I haven't really talked about it much, only with my friends and some of my clients. I described my experience, but I couldn't understand it. I thought, I do all of these things. I have got all of these great tools in my tool belt. I'm walking my talk. It's not working. What the hell? How can I, excuse me, but how can I walk forward and do what I'm doing? Because I was still working, but it wasn't working for me. And I reached out to my friends, and I reached out to, other healers and readers and things like that, because that's what you do. Nothing changed. And every time I tuned into spirit, I mean, it was like all the joy was gone out of my life. Just could not work out. You ask the why, you ask the where, you ask the how, all those sorts of things. Nothing. It was dead silence, radio silence. And I thought, well, I'm still connected to everything, so that's okay, because I was still able to do readings and healings, but just whenever it was close of business, it was bang, was nothing for me. But when I did tune in, I thought I had the impression of there was a hand holding me down like this, right? I could just keep my head above water and that was it.
Yep.
When I reflected on it, I thought to myself, well, and I had this really funny analogy, and I always talk about this with my clients, but now I experienced it in my own life, was that because you get those messages, right? That and this is how I saw it, that your soul shifts into the new vibration. Your body says, okay, let's go to, and if you're fighting it, your body will give you a few aches and pains, or it will, make you feel anxious and all those sorts of things. If you want to shut that down, what's the next thing that goes? The mind.
Yep.
If you're not going to go with that change, that mind is going to shut you down, and that's what it felt like. I was having a huge vibrational shift, and I was so stubborn, I was fighting it all the way, that I had to be shut down. And I still to this day, I get a little bit cranky about it. But having said that, I'm okay, because now I'm in such a nicer space. My life is amazing. But also too, I get cranky because I didn't like it. That's fine. That's my inner 2-year-old coming out, right? However, the time space that it took, I understand now, was perfect. So now whenever it's all, you talk about the resilience and showing you something and standing on your own 2 feet, I went from being that child to being, and I always thought I was working with spirit. No, now I'm working with spirit. It's not just us and them. So now I understand that. Look, synchronicity there with everything. But now when I get stuck, I think, that's okay. I'm doing this right now. I know it's going to shift and change when it happens, and and by doing that, that stops all the suffering, because I know that there's always going to be a beginning and an end.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people who know me would say, Janette, how do you be so positive every day? How do you move forward? You're so fearless. And sometimes I'm fearless, sometimes I'm absolutely fearful. But we've got 2 choices every day. We can wake up and we can be bitter about life. And all of us could be. We all have something we could be bitter about, our childhood or our partner or our whatever. Or we can make our life better. So I've always chose to make my life better. And, in my book, that's, if we ever get it out, people will see the journey I've been on, and it's been a rough one. And I learnt to thank all of the people that hurt me, and they hurt me very deeply to the point of crippling me. But I am so grateful, because they were lessons that I went through. I came out stronger. I came out wiser, not always the first time, may I add. And anyone that tells any of our listeners that, if you do something once, it's an accident. If you do it again, it's choice. That's not always true. That really is not. And that does not resonate with me, because it's depending on what your life circumstance is at the time. But, all of the people that have hurt me have allowed me to have lessons, and I chose what I took from that. So I'm very grateful, because now when people come to me and say, I can literally say, I hear you. And I can say that because I've lived it. My experience will be different to theirs, because we're different people. And it's like when I go to work at the hospital, patients' pain will be different. Someone will come in and say it's 10 out of 10 for a cut finger, and someone else will say, oh, it's a 1. My pain's at 1. It doesn't mean anyone's a whinger or softer or tougher. It just means your pain level's different. So, and I really want people to take that away tonight, is no matter what's going on in your life, anything that you're feeling belongs to you. It's yours. Don't let other people tell you you need to be more positive, or you need to be louder or quieter, or you need to stop being shy, or you need to be more forceful. Just do you. Don't worry about anybody else. You do you. And once I learnt that, all of my fears, I used to be such a what's the word? Oh, I used to think it was pathetic because I was the yes girl. I did
The
everything for
people pleaser.
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Mm.
And I was the people pleaser to the point one day I was at work nursing and there was always two ladies I worked with and they used to smoke cigarettes and I didn't. No judgment. There's a reason I'm telling you that. So they would always be popping off cigarettes and I would be left to do all the work. And when they went for their lunch break, for a 40-minute lunch break, they'd probably come back an hour and 40 minutes later because they were friends with the boss. So I got stuck with doing all the showering and the wound dressings. And so when they had a great day. And then I learnt from that I had to stop because I was so frightened people wouldn't like me. Now, I don't have any expectation of anyone. I just do me, and that's enough. And I just
Yes.
hope that people get to that.
Yes, well, there's a couple of things I'd like to take from that. I love it. Choice. You choose to fight for yourself. You choose to say, I want a better life. And that resonated with me so much. And that, I think that's, I mean, I could have sunk many, many times. But I said, no, there is something better for me, not about anybody else, right? The other thing was knowing yourself and liking yourself. That way you can be yourself. And when I did that, what I found was I didn't have to do anything else because now people were being drawn towards me because I was resonating or vibrating at that space. I didn't have to ask. It was just done. Yeah, it was perfect. And
Absolutely.
so being stuck doesn't have to be a bad or a negative thing. It just is your soul and your body and your mind's way of saying, let's stop for a moment. Let's take stock here. How do you want to move forward? And if you want to make up stories in your mind and create all this, like, you know, because the mind will go to its old back catalogue and draw all these old experiences and say, it's got to be this and it's got to be that. And that's fine. But your body will always tell you that you're lying to yourself. And so just be kind, you know, go through the process. It'll always take as long as it takes. And you can either go that journey in peace or you can do it in suffering. But it's always got a beginning and an end. So you can say, well, okay, you know, that's what I say to myself now. I say, okay, it's come, this has sort of happened. I'm a bit wobbly. I'll just wait and see. I'm always interested to see how it's going to turn out. So I look at myself in the third person sometimes as well and think, okay, well, I'm going through this. I'm experiencing that. I wonder how is Vicky's life going to turn out now? Looking, and I watch myself.
I love that. I love that because how boring would our lives be if we were all the same, if we were all doing the same journey, if we were all, and by all means, reach out to people, but also, before you do reach out to people, that's where you should do the inner work because too many people will have a low vibration in themselves, not a low vibration person, because they look to the external. Now, when you go to somebody for advice, I could be feeling down. I could go to Vicki for advice and her advice would probably be brilliant, but that advice is what Vicki would use for Vicki. That advice Vicki gives me may not work for Janette. So we then go and ask somebody else, and that doesn't work either. And somebody else will have a bit of a go at us. Oh, you need to get over it. Ouch. I came for support, not, you know, and then we go to somebody else. So in the end, we've got 5 stories on top of our story, and it just gets bigger and bigger, and it gets too much. And that's the importance of now we've come full circle right back around to when Vicki and I first started. How do you become unstuck? You go within. So do you see the hamster wheel you can get on? So you just got to learn learn what triggers you, what sets you off. And it's okay to be triggered. It's okay. And you know what? Vicki said something before which really resonated with me. Vicki said it's okay to feel emotions. Anger is healthy. When did anger become not healthy? It's not healthy if you go out and hurt people. That's a whole different. But anger, normal anger, getting pissed off, that's normal. Getting
such a motivator,
Yes, because often you can use your anger in your favour and say, right, I'm not going to sit and have this happen to me, and these are the steps I'm going to take. And it's okay to feel sad, but don't let that sadness get so low that you can't come out of the sadness. And if you feel that's happening, please seek help, professional help, not help from friends, because again, they will tell you what would work for them, and that may not work for you. So own your emotions, own them, but it's okay to be sad and angry. Do you know what? I'll tell you all a secret. Vicki will know this. It's even okay to be happy. We are allowed to be happy. And so many of us don't think we should be, especially people who may have lost a loved one, has passed over, and they often go into guilt or, just obviously losing someone. That's traumatic. That's why we have grief. But I've worked with different realms my whole life. I had my own near-death experience, so I've been to heaven, if that's what you want to call it. And the people that have passed over, they don't want us to be here on earth sad. They want us to go on and enjoy our lives. Because sadly, a fact of life is we all come here to this planet to learn lessons and then leave it again. So it's universal law, So I'm not saying downplay death, but Western society has a very morbid view about death, whereas most other cultures celebrate it. So, just keep that wheel going for yourself. Keep it going. You've got it, team.
Well, that's fabulous. I think we might wind it up there, Janette. I've been psyched to do this. I could talk about this all night. We can go into other subjects. I'm the same. I go off in different tangents all the time. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. So visit Janette at Mystic Angel Realm. You can put your details up in the comments if you like. And Janette's also a spiritual events directory host as well, so she has her own show as well. Oh, you stopped doing that, haven't you?
I have stopped doing that.
Yes, sorry, beg your pardon.
Yeah, no, I just stopped because I've got other things that I'm going to work on, and so people very lovely have come over from spiritual events to my Angelic Mystic Realm page, which has been lovely. But I love being able to catch up with you, Vicki, and this has been amazing. So thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks for your wisdom too. It's been great.
Well, I send love to everybody, and get off the hamster wheel, guys, and get unstuck. Mwah.
Thank you so much, Janette. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye. I'll see if I can.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry about that, Janette. I cut you off. Anyway, I'll thank you very much, and your wisdom and your words tonight, and go and visit Janette at her Angelic Mystic Realm page. That's I got a small chance to chat with Janette today, and that was the very first really deep conversation that we've ever had, and I love it. I love speaking to people and get their different views on everything. So, and thanks guys for your comments as well. This really resonates with me. What have we got here? I've just experienced this. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. Is it your stories? My biggest hurt, learning to be more aware of my thoughts, and they do matter. Yes, you are so right. Love this. Yes. So anyway, thank you so much for joining in the conversation. Now, thank you, Kerry. Kerry enjoyed tonight. I'll just show you that one too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. So now I've got a bit of time left. I've got about 10 minutes. So I'm going to do some live readings. So I'm going to go back to the top. If anyone would like a reading, just pop a little comment up there. And if you've got a question or something, I know that your names are there, but if you've got a particular question, let me know and I will pull a card for you and we'll have a go. Let's see. I'll take that one down. Now, let me just put up my other little thing up here. My Thursday night show. So I do psychic readings. I do healings and I do coaching. You can find me at www.vickyhaspels.com. Go and check that out. But I also have Thursday night regular psychic development page, and at the moment it's free for the rest of the year because I'm working it out on the go as well. So let's have a look at the comments. Now let's see. Yes, I would love a reading. Let's see how we go. Cynthia, I'll pull a card for you. Just really quick readings. You're at a crossroads, Cynthia. So don't be too concerned if you're feeling a bit hesitant at that doorway. It means that you're just not quite ready. Everything's in place, but you're quite not ready there yet. But yes, things are going to change. Now, Michelle, when will you find love? Let's have a look at what love energy is around you at the moment. We've got this here. So, Michelle, when it comes to finding love, you're still finding out about yourself. So your love will be fun. Any relationships will be fun. At the moment, you're really more doing work on yourself. So you will find love once you move past that page of Wands energy and into a bit more clearer about your direction and who you are. Doesn't mean to say that you can't have fun on the way, right? So now you want to see about moving to Australia. Let's see. I'm just pulling cards so that I can get through as many people as I can. So let's put the energy about you moving into. So I'd say yes, that's a big fat yes about that, because you know what, you're stuck where you are at the moment. Thank you, Janette. And I'll have a chat with you later. Thank you so much. I'll pop that up on the screen so you can see what Janette has written to us. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Janette. So now, Cynthia. No, sorry, I beg your pardon, Sue. You're stuck, yes. That means that things are going to start changing because you are stuck in a rut. Even though she's lovely and balanced, she also means that you're stuck in a rut. So once things start moving for you again, you'll know exactly where you want to live. I won't say that it's Australia or not, because I'm not going to tune that deeply into it. But don't be too concerned. Sorry, I just dropped some cards. Don't be too concerned that you haven't worked it out just yet, because you don't have all the clues just yet. So just, you know that you're meant to be ready. So Tracy, this is a card for you. Here we go. Oh, we got this Sun card. Love it for a goal, Tracy. So for you, Tracy, go chasing those dreams, please. Don't think that you can't. And you've got a very strong energy around the Sun for you, which means that means success. That means that your inspiration and your goals and what you're working towards is absolutely spot on. If you want to stop it, or if you're feeling unsure about yourself, that's fine too. But what I'm saying to you is that you can actually move forward into it, because success is waiting for you. Now, I would love to know, this is from Cynthia, I would love to know how this new job is going to be for me. Let's pop that one up, so I'm answering that one. Okay, so we've got this one here. This is this is a satisfied emotions. I always think about her as the cat that licked the cream. So this is like, this is something that you've won, and you've actually won it on extremely amazing talents. And so you have every right to sit there and say, you know what, I'm very good at this. I do see though that you won't be sitting there for very long or moving forward, because you will feel like you've been there and done that. But you know, it's just something to prove to yourself that you've actually got the skills that you knew you had. That's what you need that one for. Okay, Sally. Okay, so this is for you, Sally. I would love a reading. Okay, this is for you. I love this platform. I can show who wants a reading. So this is for you, Sally. Now, this does mean money coming in. So let's look at it that like you're hesitating. At the minute I tuned to this card, my mind was going, I'm double thinking, I'm double checking, I'm overthinking everything. Life is going forward for you, right? So there's like that flow has started to open up, and it's moving you forward. The only thing that's happening is that you're going, is this okay? Is this right? Is this okay? Is this right? It is right, because it's moving. So just, you know, go with it, have some fun with it, and just see where it takes you. That's what we talked about tonight. Where you've been stuck, now you're unstuck, but your mind is trying to double guess everything. It's fine. It's all good. Okay. Oh, this is from Janette. Angelic Mystic Realm is my page. So go have a look for that one. Now, this is for Kerry. Reading, please, around family. I'll leave that one up there about Janette Maree Truthseeker. So this is for carry around reading. Oops, upside down, sorry, family. So whatever's happening with your family, it is just this, I always think about fairy floss words. So whatever's happening around, whether there's not discomfort, but disturbances around everything around you and around everything at the moment, whatever words or whatever things are coming up, whatever things are being revealed, or whatever things are being spoken about, it is just, I call it fairy floss words. It has no depth and no meaning. They're not designed to hurt. They are just, everyone's just getting their stuff out. So it doesn't make it any easier. It just means that if you can look at it for what it actually is, rather than what we talked about tonight, turning it into a story back from what your memory is trying to pull out, look at it for what it is from an objective point of view. You'll actually be able to see it for what it is. Okay. Rihanna wants to know if I'm moving interstate. Okay. Let's have a look. This is, oh, got this one again. I promise you I shuffled and pulled from the middle. So now Rihanna said, I would love to know if you see me moving interstate, please. So you've got some hesitation around moving interstate. I would say yes, that means the doorway is open. That just means that there are things in the way. And you don't have enough information just yet. You've got everything that you need, but you don't have all the information just yet. So yes, I've got a yes around moving interstate. Just take it easy. Just because it's not happening straight away doesn't mean to say that it won't happen. Now, Kerry, you in a comment? Let's who we got here. Kerry. This is for you, Kerry. Okay, please a comment. So we've got the devil card here. So that is just a lot of looking inward. I'm getting a lot of anxiety around you, Kerry. So the devil's not always the nicest card, right? He's always about guilt and shame and things like that. But there are things that this is just saying that you're really, that there's something that like you want to talk about, that you want to discuss, and that you don't really know who to trust. And this, it'll take a little while, but you will find someone to trust, because it's all about ready to spill over, right? So you know, that's why you're feeling probably a little bit sort of anxious or like that. Sort of, I feel a bit head up inside of myself when I tune into that card for you. So get ready to find somebody, because that's what's going to happen. It's all going to come out. It's all good. Now, let's see. I'll do one more because I do have to go. My name, as I said, VickiHaspels.com. Go and check my website. Go find my page, Vicki Haspels on Facebook. I do live readings there as well. I do half an hour. I try and do half an hour twice a week. And let's see, reading on Love Cup. Karma Cheetah. Here we go. So this is Karma Cheetah. This is about you are taking yourself seriously now. So you are very good at what you do. You're very good at your job. You're very good at your skills. You've got great creativity. This is about reminding you that you're not taking yourself seriously enough at the moment, and you know this. And so you're sort of trying to work out, the energy around you is trying to work out, you are trying to work out how you are going to say, hey, this is what I do. And so this is like a little bit by little bit, inch by inch, increment by increment, you are going to get there, because you are actually very good at what you do. You're very good, you're very creative, and you're very good at presenting yourself. It's just fun that you're just building that faith around yourself at the moment. Okay, I do have to wind up. 8:30 is my cutoff point, or 9:30 in the southern states. So thank you so much for joining me. Same bat time, same bat channel, back in next Sunday night. We'll do much of the same thing, and I'll have another special guest in conversation with me. My name is Vicki Haspels. Thank you for joining me. I love you all. Cheers. Bye.